One of the most important ideas in Chapter 1 is this idea of decomposition. I would argue that programming and creating complex applications, like for instance the apps that you use on your phone every day, or perhaps applications you use in your Chromebook or your Windows or Mac computer, I would argue that there is no way that programmers could come up with the programs that run on those devices unless there was this thing called decomposition. So I'm going to explain the idea first, and then I'm going to show you in our code what is one way that we use decomposition. So when you face a problem, oftentimes problems that we face are so big that if you try to solve a problem in one big chunk, it's almost impossible to do so. If you think about society as a whole, we have a lot of problems in today's world. One example that I might give you is climate change. So if you're just going to say, I'm setting out to solve climate change, you might not even know where to start because the problem is huge. It involves lots of people, it has lots of parts to it, has a lot of different things that you need to do in order to solve that problem. So when you face a big problem, just like this picture that I have on the screen shows, what you want to do is break the problem down into smaller and smaller parts. So you start up here with your big problem, and then you break it into smaller parts, and then you break those into smaller parts yet. And then what you do is, once you've logically broken down your problem into many small little bits, you solve each of the small problems one by one. You focus on the first subproblem, and you solve that, and then you focus on the second subproblem, and you solve that, and then the third one, and you solve that, and the fourth one, you solve that, and so on and so forth. And once you've solved all the little problems, they add up to solving the big problem. So let me show you how we do this in programming. What I'm going to show you today is based off of the Hello World problem that we wrote code for in our very first application. So what I'm going to show you today is something called a static method. So I already introduced you a little bit and introduced the term main method. So Java programs are broken down into what are called methods. So this is one way we have using decomposition inside of our code. The main method is where, when you kick off a program, that's where Java looks for and runs first. That never changes, that's always the same. I can tell you, for example, Minecraft is a Java application. It is written in the exact programming language that you're learning right now. When you start Minecraft, when you start playing a session of Minecraft, and you click that icon and it kicks off Minecraft, Minecraft looks for the main method, and that's how the game starts. Well, then we have this thing called a static method. And you see down here, I have public static void. So those things might not make sense right now, and that's okay. But I gave this one the name hello, and then I have some empty parentheses there. So I'm breaking this apart right here from the main method. So that way, I'm practicing decomposition. I can have as many static methods as I want inside of a program. It really doesn't matter. What you do is you have public static void and then choose an identifier and then put whatever you want this method to do. In this case, I want it to print out print hello world to the screen. All right, and I'm going to press compile just to make sure I don't have any errors. I don't have any errors. Now I'm going to come back up to the main method. Now the main method is right here, and like I said multiple times now, when you run your application, Java will look for that main method. So how do you call a static method to run? Well, inside the main method, all you have to do is name the static method. The parentheses denote it as a method. And then at the end of that, I'm going to put, since this is a statement, I'm going to put a semicolon. And so what happens is the program will run, it looks for the main method. Oh, there's the main method. And what do I do first? Oh, I need to call the hello method and run that. So Java will come down here and it'll say, oh, here's hello right here. And then it'll run the code that's inside here. As soon as it's done running that code, it'll return right here and come down to line 8, and then it'll execute whatever code is on that line. Can I call it again? I sure can. Let me close this real quick and let's run it just to prove to you. Remember, you right click and you choose the main method and go ahead and press OK. And look at that. It works. Now there's one more advantage to this. I can actually call that method as many times as I want. Press compile, make sure I don't have any errors. Okay, let's press close. All right, and let's run that. And look at that. You might be saying, wait a minute, I thought it would only do 3 times. BlueJ has a little option in the menu called clear screen at method call. I'm going to click that, so that's activated. You can see now it has a check mark next to it. And watch what happens now when I run this. Hello world, hello world, hello world. So that's the big idea of decomposition. These are called static methods, right? And we're going to get lots of practice writing static methods.